Yo, 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 good people. Welcome to the HERBMAN Show.
Yo, good people, it's your homie Herman, busting you back upside the head with another hot banger boogie. Hey, look, go tell somebody your homie Herman is on. And if you're new to the program, welcome. Go ahead and hit that logo right at the bottom of your screen right there. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you never miss what we're bringing to the world, all right? So I am your homie Herman. I'm the resident herbalist of the day, right? And so today, you guys, I want to talk about how we are able to not obstruct our major highways in the body, okay? Major highways that are leading to major organs, that are leading to major tissues, that are leading to cells in our bodies. We're going to have to understand how not to obstruct these highways, right? We don't want any traffic jams. We don't want any calcification. We don't want any stumbling blocks, roadblocks that formulate inside of these particular highways, because they are very, very important to the body. And so we're going to go over these highways, and we're also going to go over some of the organs that are very involved in getting these things, keeping these highways open so that things can get to these organs, all right? So the first one is going to be the transportation system, all right? So this is your blood flow, okay? Your blood flow is the transportation system of the body. What does it transport? Mainly it's going to transport oxygen and nutrients throughout the entire body. So it's very important that we keep the transportation system from getting obstructed, because when you do this, then you're pretty much cutting off everything in the body, okay? So blood flow is very important to not get obstructed, all right? And so how do we do this? Is when we keep the body into an acidic format, and then basically the body has to use its most alkaline mineral, and that's going to be calcium. Okay, so when you get this calcium built up in the body, because you're always acidic and the body's always having to use these calcium to buffer this acidity, then you can start to now clog up the highways, okay? And when you start to clog up and calcify these veins and arteries, then you're going to be running into a lot of problems, because remember that these are your transportation system sending oxygen and nutrients throughout the body to your cells, tissues, and your organs. And so when that transportation gets blocked up, now these organs can start to fail, these tissues can start to deteriorate, and these cells can really start to disform and really start to malfunction. So you want to be very careful with obstructing the blood flow, which is the transportation system. Next is the waste system, okay? The waste system. You do not want to obstruct the waste disposal system of the body, okay? The waste disposal system of the body. Now we're talking about the lymph though. And this is important because when you urinate, you get out more toxins than you do when you defecate, okay? So we're talking about specifically here with the kidneys, okay? The excretory system, okay? Not the digestive system and the colon, but the excretory system. If this lymph flow is blocked up, you guys, this is where you really can start getting into cancerous situations, okay? You don't want to block up the lymph flow. How can you block up the lymph flow? Is when you're starting to eat a bad diet, a high protein diet that can start to really block off these neurons, or nephrons, that are inside of the kidneys. If these nephrons start to get blocked up, or these filters start to not filter properly, now you're starting to get unwanted waste from the cells backing up into the body instead of being dispersed out as urea or urine when you urinate, okay? So that is a big thing that is starting to take place as far as cancers being on the rise, because we are really beating our kidneys down, okay? And if you're looking at acne, pimples, polyps, fibroids, cysts, all of these things are really coming about due to the backup of the lymph flow, okay? So you want to make sure that that lymph flow, that waste disposal system, never gets in a traffic jam, never gets obstructed, never gets backed up in the body. Otherwise, it can really start to put the body into what we call a toxemic state, okay? So you want to make sure that that is taken care of. Thirdly, you want to make sure that your communication system, never gets obstructed, never gets backed up. And this is going to be the nerve flow, how the brain communicates throughout the whole body, okay? If this is also being obstructed or has been damaged at any point in time due to whatever the situation is, then you're going to start to have nerve damage. And when these nerve endings get to start to deteriorate, they can be very painful, okay? Very painful. And you want to be able to utilize your body the way that you want to be able to utilize it. And when the brain cannot function the way that it needs to for a body part to start working, then that will send a signal back to the brain that that body part doesn't work. And then that's when the deterioration of that body part really starts to take effect, i.e. when the brain doesn't realize that the eye doesn't work anymore, that's really where you start to get in cataracts start to set in and all that type of stuff, because the brain is registering that it doesn't work. Okay? All right, so you don't want to have any obstructions. You don't want to have any damage to the communication system of the body, aka the nerve flow. Okay, so these three highways, these three flow of energies throughout our body is so important to cell proliferation and to cell growth and maturity and to the energizing of the cells and of the body. That is not funny, you guys, because cells make tissues, tissues make organs, organs make organ systems. And so when we start to really obstruct these particular highways, it really starts to have damage on the DNA, the cellular makeup of the body. And the number one thing that creates DNA disruption is going to be vitamin and mineral nutrition. Okay, so when the vitamin and mineral nutrition is starting to die down, meaning that you've clogged up the circulatory system so the oxygen and nutrients are not getting there. All right, you've clogged up the waste disposal system, so these sick cells are still in the body proliferating. They're not dying off, they're not being excreted out of the body, and so they start to sit in the body in certain areas of the body and start to create masses of dead cells. Okay, this is not good for the body. Or if it starts to happen inside the nervous system, you're going to have a bad day when you're looking at that. So these are just some of the organs, all right, that are going to be affected if one of those things get clogged up. Okay, one of those information highways, if they get clogged up, they can affect this whole little cycle of making sure that you work properly. So these are the organs involved. The lungs, if the lungs get clogged up, obviously the oxygen is low. That's going to affect the brain and the cellular growth, okay, because the cells need oxygen. All right, also it's going to affect the heart if the heart get clogged up. Okay, why? Because you got blood coming in and out. Okay, so if the heart gets clogged up, or if the vein or the arteries get clogged up, now there's not enough blood going through the body, there's not enough nutrients going throughout the body, and this can start to affect cell growth again. What happens to cells happens to tissues, happens to organs, happens to organ systems. Okay, now if the colon is not operating properly, it's not absorbing the nutrients out of the food that you're eating, it's not extracting properly. Now you're not getting the proper nutrition in the blood. That can start to affect cells, cells affect tissues, tissues affect organs, organs affect organ systems. Okay, if the liver is not functioning properly and it's not able to process or convert or store or kill microorganisms properly, now you're sending tainted blood, you got low sugar levels in the blood. All right, all that type of stuff now is starting to be dispersed throughout the body, okay, because this liver is not functioning properly. Again, we talked about the kidneys. If they're not functioning properly, now your water balance is off, okay? Now the toxemia stays in the body. Now you're having lymph node swelling. Now you're having water retention. Your ankles are swelling. All high blood pressure, all of this stuff because the kidneys nephrons are being clogged up. Okay, so it's very important that we keep these highways open so that we can keep this cycle going. And as long as we can keep this cycle going without no obstructions, then you're going to have vitality to make it through any type of situation that you got going on. So what is the importance of vitality? Well, vitality in short is going to be longevity, okay? Longevity here on planet Earth. The longer that you're able to understand not the longer. The more you're able to understand the information that I just gave you, then the more you're able to add into how you're able to live here as long as you possibly can. And that's going to be with vitality. And the only thing that can really lessen your vitality is if you have an obstruction. Okay, if you have an obstruction. And so our eating habits have to be conducive to where we're not eating foods that will obstruct us, which means that we're not eating foods that cause too much acidity, so that the kidneys and everything doesn't have to disperse so much calcium. And so calcium doesn't have to be a part of calcifying our arteries or our veins, and we don't have to have gallbladder stones and kidney stones and bone spurs and all these different stuff, because this calcium is just flowing free in our bodies because it's trying to keep us into a proper balance. Remember that the body is going to keep you balanced whether you want to or not. And it's only when it doesn't have enough calcium, it doesn't have enough magnesium to where it can't do it anymore, to where you're going to start to have issues, okay? So you want to make sure that you're helping the body with this compensation that it's doing. You want to give it the proper nutrition that it needs, but you want to keep it in a more alkaline state so that you don't have to use these calciums. And as long as this calcium is not floating in the body, then you can deter calcification. You can circumvent calcification, okay? So the biggest key is to keep the acidity down, because your body is going to compensate for this acidity, okay? And there's really nothing you can do about it outside of eating alkaline foods. And we all know what those are. Those are going to be your fruits. Those are going to be your vegetables. And the main key you want to do with fruits and vegetables are going to be eating them seasonal, okay? Eating them seasonal resonates with the DNA properly. It gives you more vitamins and minerals per pack of fruit and vegetables that you eat, because as long as it's seasonal, then most of the time we can count on it being freshly picked. It can be in high nutrition value, but when it's out of season and all that type of stuff, you may be dealing with a lot of nutritional degradation. And so therefore you're going to have to eat a lot more other things in order to help your body with this vitamin and mineral balance, okay? So I didn't want to make this video long, but I definitely wanted to make it strong, okay? You guys need to understand how to properly balance out the body and how to keep these information highways from getting clogged up or obstructed. And you can use seed vegetables, fruits, and you can use vegetables to do it. And those three will make sure that the line of communication stays open and transportation stays open and the waste department stays open. I love you guys. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Go tell somebody about your homie HERBMAN. And until next time, love HERBMAN.
Yo, 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 good people. Welcome to the HERBMAN Show.